Natasha.
And Khalil.
And we are the co-hosts of
WokeNFree.
Thank you for tuning in to our 53rd episode of WokeNFree. If you've been tuning in every week for WokeNFree Wednesday, you know that WokeNFree is all about being real and honest with each other and you. We talk about everything and anything that is important to us, to you, and the world, and nothing is off the table. In this episode, we're really excited to be talking about the subject of what to expect when you get married. So essentially, what happens after the I do's. But before we dive deep into that subject, we have a couple of things to ask you. First, have you subscribed to WokeNFree on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Play, YouTube, SoundCloud, and iHeartRadio? If not, please do. We greatly appreciate your support of the show. Second, have you shared an episode with friends or family? If not, this is a great episode to share, so share away. Third, have you hollered at us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter at WokeNFree? If not, don't be shy, slide into the DM and let's get chatting. And then lastly, are you interested in reviewing our show or any of our episodes? If not, we would greatly, appreciate if you haven't already to please go on to WokeNFree.com, and then you can see where the show is on all the different platforms. For example, you could review an episode on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Play, YouTube, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and many, many more. So please do give us your feedback.
Each week, we like to share a little bit about us before we dive into the topic for the episode. Last week, we shared our favorite way to quickly write something down. This week, we are sharing when we knew we found the one.
Khalil.
Oh.
I love how you pose the question as if it's not applying to each other. Like this abstract love of our lives. Jackass.
No, this is a question anybody can ask themselves. That's the whole point. These questions are made so anybody can be asked.
So when I fell in love with Josh Hartnett or when I fell in love with you? I mean, come on, man.
It's not about, it's when you found the one, whatever that means to you. Some people found the one dog that they want.
Chad and cheese.
So, it depends.
Chad and cheese. Oh, JJ. All right. Well, I fell in love with you probably the minute I saw you, but I blurted it out after 6 weeks of us being together. So I was 18 years old. I was a freshman. And yes, I knew that I was going to marry you, and I knew that I was going to spend the rest of my life with you. So thanks for the weird question.
That's when you knew you found the one, 6 weeks.
Yes, and we're talking about you, not our dog.
All right. That's good to clear that up. Thanks for clearing that up.
Yeah.
I think I found the one in my sophomore year of college. It was in the cafeteria while studying for some finals.
Oh,
I said,
okay.
This is the time I found the one. I just felt it within my heart. It came out, and my heart was out of my chest. I was wearing it on my sleeve.
And you might want
all for the one.
Okay, you might want to clarify who this one is.
Come on, you know the one. Like
no,
the
I
movie.
think WokeNFree Nation wants to know.
My wife. My lovely wife.
Okay, good to know. Thanks.
So now you know when I knew I found the one.
See, guys, who fell in love first? Trivia number 1.
Wow, this isn't a competition, though.
Everything's a competition. When you're married to a Virgo.
Wow. Now there's some madness there. Definitely.
Yes. So with that, really interesting start to the show. Hey, WokeNFree Nation, I hope you're ready. First question out of the gate, why do people get married?
Well, of course, to support the $72 billion wedding industry. That was the total industry's revenue in 2016, according to marketresearch.com.
Wow.
And I guess another reason is probably supposedly to express each other's love. Maybe that's the secondary reason, but that first reason is the main reason.
clearly
keep the economy going, right?
Yeah, clearly you're a real romantic here. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's the very number one reason.
Okay. Well, according to weddings.lovetoknow.com, people get married for any of the following reasons: emotional, which is kind of your secondary reason, as previously mentioned, financial, legal, religious, society, and I would add healthcare to that list.
Oh, well, yeah. All right, yeah. Mm-hmm. That's definitely important. Do you think marriage is for everyone?
Definitely not. I know plenty of people I'm related to who should have never got married. And so being that I witnessed that and saw that in my own family or friend's family, I definitely, from a young age, always knew that marriage was not an institution that applied to everyone. So I was always very confused when people were doing it when they definitely, clearly should not have been doing it. But Bustle has an interesting article that shares 8 reasons why you shouldn't get married. And as always, guys, you can find all of our research that we mentioned on WokeNFree.com. So let's go through these 8 reasons and talk them out. You have problems with compromise. Do you agree? Don't get married if you can't compromise?
Of course not. Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding.
That's like the number one thing.
Yep. Next, relationships seem to be more trouble than they're worth. I definitely could see how that could, like, loving someone but it comes with a whole baggage and. Yep.
And what's hard is people get into these bad relationships too.
Yep.
So
yep. I think
it's not
that's
like
more
everyone's
trouble than it's worth. Yep.
Because even a good relationship is hard. So imagine if you're in a bad relationship. It's like some bad news there.
Ding, ding, ding. How about you come up short when imagining your dream wedding? I thought that was like a really vain reason, but I mean, I guess it constitutes as a reason.
I mean, you're just setting too high of a goal, right? It's like you want to touch the sun, but good job. Trying to do something so insane.
Light it up.
Don't be insane. That's just don't be insane. Yes. Come on.
How about
be reasonable?
You have commitment issues. That's a goodie.
Oh yeah, that happens to a lot of people. Yeah.
Word. You have a strong sense of independence. I kind of resented that answer choice because I think we both are alphas and I think we both have strong senses of independence.
I'm a beta, I would say.
Okay, guys, this is not opposite day.
Oh, all right. I just feel, I don't know. I feel that way about myself.
Okay, so next time we're having a conversation, then I guess I'll establish my alpha status.
All right, good.
And then conversation command done.
Yeah.
Good.
I like that.
Good.
It sounds good to me. I don't wear the pants in this family.
Oh yeah. Okay, Leo Lion. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I'm just telling you how it is.
Stroking your mane because you're the beta. Yeah, that makes total sense.
I'm telling you how it is. I'm the beta, and that is what it is.
Yeah, lies and fairy tales he tells, guys. Lies and fairy tales. You don't look at marriage in a positive light. I thought that was very interesting.
Wow. So you just look at it only in a negative light. Yeah, that's true. There are people that do that they only tell you to like
the bad
the
side
worst
of it.
thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
You don't want to live life traditionally. I thought that was a very true point. Absolutely. If you aren't into having to cook and clean and see the same person all the time, this isn't for you guys. Under a traditional marriage.
Well,
now people have
some people have different. They have
different modern setups. But...
Yeah, they have long distance setups too, where they're in different countries. So I don't know. That's different. It's not traditional. And
then also, you're happy with things the way that things are currently. So meaning you don't.
So you're not ambitious.
Ooh, that's an interesting choice of words.
That's what that says.
Maybe. Yeah.
I don't know how else to see that. It's like you're cool with everything as it is.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't want any change. I mean, that just seems like zero ambitions. I'm cool.
In addition to these 8 things, I would say being happily married of 5 years and us being together 14 years together, I would add that marriage means that you're going from a you to a we. So if you don't want a partner in your life, and you don't want a partner in your life for your lifetime, then don't get married. And then also, I believe that most people don't know what they want. So they go after institutions like marriage because that's on the list of things that society or people push you to do. But if you really start to unravel it, and hopefully you do during this episode, you start to think about it and really question, is this for you? Because if you're in a position to change the course of your future and marriage being a part of that course, if it's not for you, boom booms, it's not for you. And I think you should own that truth and live in it.
All right. Well, Yeah, I mean, I don't think marriage is for everybody either. And I found a Huffington Post article, and that gave 10 reasons why it's totally fine never to get married.
Okay.
Let's get through them then. Most people aren't in a hurry to get married anymore. And I say that's probably because a lot of people are just living together. I don't think that used to happen traditionally.
Yep.
I think you had to get married before moving in with somebody. But now that's going to the
They're
wayside.
getting the cow before the
before
the whole
it's like
thing.
why get married so soon?
Yep.
People feel there aren't many advantages to being married.
I mean, there are tax and legal benefits depending
Possibly,
upon
not
depending upon
necessarily.
what your financial situation are, but financial situation is, but
Yeah, so maybe they don't see most of the advantages.
Mm-hmm.
For men, they actually found that being married could be connected to being overweight. That's interesting.
Well, that's because you're eating more and you don't care about your appearance as much.
But it said for men, not for women, though. It said just specifically for men. It said that men could be more overweight in a marriage.
Maybe because you're more
women are
relaxed
just fine,
and stuff.
though.
Yeah.
Marriage can present a slew of financial problems.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of like hinted at it with the previous little reason.
Definitely.
But some laws actually require spouses to be responsible for the other person's debt.
Wow.
And another thing is a parent could lose student aid because of the increased income from the new spouse. So those are just two like small examples, but there's other financial issues you can think of when you get married. Marriage can seem like an outdated institution. It's square, it's not hip.
Well, it's definitely not trendy. Yeah,
it's not something that people, the hipsters aren't like, let's get married,
go get
man.
Starbucks if you want to be trendy.
I mean, so that's not a big deal for people. Getting married can put your friendships at risk.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
You could definitely lose friends over marriage. That's very common.
People are jealous and people are weak, and also you have to rely on your spouse more than you really rely on your friends.
So you tend to rely on them less and contact them a little bit less.
Yeah, so it changes. Everything changes.
And you're technically supposed to spend some time with your spouse, right? Not just still be out with your friends.
Out with your girls. Yeah, no. You gotta be home with your boo. Yeah.
Put in some work into that relationship.
Absolutely.
They were also saying it can lead to relying on one individual for every emotional need.
If you actually like and connect with your partner, there's a bunch of people we both know who are married and they think of their partner as, the equivalent of Satan. So they are not necessarily going to go there for the cuddly, but for I mean, I would say in our relationship, definitely, I'm going to turn to you for emotional needs more so than other people, and that could create a drift with other people. Yeah.
It requires a commitment of time and energy, which we brought up before, definitely.
So does a puppy, though. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why some people don't get puppies for that reason. Many marriages end in divorce in the U.S.
Yes. We hear that stat all the time. Yeah,
we know that. And an alternative to marriage actually exists. It's called a civil union or domestic partnership, actually.
Yeah, and you should speak with an attorney to understand the differences. But, I mean, I think that those are good alternatives for people who are looking. If you understand what those things are, I think that they are good alternatives you can consider. What do you think is the best part of marriage?
Personally, it makes me feel like I'm Creed's son and I have like someone rooting in my corner. It's like I want to be the very best, like no one ever was, and that's what I get from my spouse.
Did you literally just say that because you know how much I love Creed?
No, I said it because it makes sense.
Shout out to Michael B. Jordan! I love you.
That's the best type of reference because it's like you're a boxer and you have somebody in your corner, and Creed's a good movie that shows you that.
And there's also a lot of blood and violence.
But I'm just talking about the one part where he's back down, but he's got that support. He's got the support system. Rocky supporting him through and through. So at least when you get on later on in the movies, through and through there, that's what it's like. Gotcha. Having somebody in your corner rooting for you, even when you everything's against you and your back's against the ropes. Gotcha. I don't know. I think that's a good reference with the boxing and having a
Except
coach
I'm
in the
an
corner.
old white man in the scenario, but
Adrian.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But I appreciate the sentiment. Yes.
And I think like a second thing is like being married has helped me reach my goals that I possibly would have thought was impossible. Actually, like I wouldn't have done it on my own. I don't think so. I think you have helped me like attain things that I wouldn't even thought I could get. So I think that's really helpful.
Y'all know what he wants.
That's what you want. No, you want a partner that makes you better, that pushes you to be better. That's what you want in life.
know what kind of day this is.
What? It's a hot summer.
Yeah, hot and fire, hot.
Because
yeah,
I was
like
trying to
fire.
think of a music reference, and it's this. It's not a cool summer.
Oh,
I was thinking that, but I was like, oh, this is cool, but technically this summer was hot, so I was like, I can't say
I don't know.
that.
Is there like a dirty Janet Jackson song? That's what comes to mind.
Wow, that's what you're thinking? I was just thinking it was a hot summer. That's what you were thinking about. And I talk about partners and being better and all that good stuff.
I kind of think about the porn music.
Wow. Where are you getting this? We're talking about the best part of marriage. You're talking about like some weird party that people have.
A weird party, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to call porn. Yeah, weird parties.
That's your idea.
Okay, guys, don't put words in my mouth. But for me, okay, let me think about it. I think every relationship in marriage is different. I can only, of course, speak on our marriage and our experience. And because you are more to me than just my husband, but you're my best friend, we've spent the last 14 years together. This month marks 14 years together for us.
Wow.
Yeah, which makes you
14.
my number one person in my life. And so I would say the best part of marriage where you actually like your partner, like I said, they aren't,
That's
you
nice.
know, low-key Satan for you, and you want to spend time with them, and, you know, in just being in your truth with that person. You know, we're the kind of couple where we want to spend that low-key holiday weekend indoors, hanging out, you know, eating, chilling, doing errands, and just like laughing and enjoying each other. So the best part would be just being together. And that really is going to be only if you are with the person you should be with. So kind of like when you ask the question of, have you found the one? I think if you have, then the best part of marriage is that person and the relationship you've built together over the years, because you learn, you grow, the growing pains, you can look back and laugh at. We laughed at some of the things we used to bicker and argue about years ago. Can't even remember half of the argument. But I agree, completely agree with you. Your partner always should push you to be better. You have always supported me. You've never degraded me, made me feel any way less than amazing and special. And that's what a partner should be. You know, you've accepted me in a way that no one else in this world ever has and never ever will. And so, what else could you ask for, really?
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a good way to wrap that up. Yeah.
All with a bow on top.
Yeah.
I'm nice like that.
And then we'll change it up a bit, and we're gonna ask this: what are the biggest challenges faced in a marriage?
Oh, here we go. So now you want the tea to be spilled. Oh, okay. So let's see. The biggest challenge really comes down to the downside of whoever you're married to. Meaning,
you can't say that.
It is, because a marriage
It's not a downside. That's just something, they might do something different. You might see it as a downside, but they see it as a perk or a bonus.
Remember,
like they leave like tea bags on the counter.
Remember, Virgo always. So it's Virgo season. It's Virgo Nation here right now. So my judgmental self is going to tell you that for me, I would say, because the marriage, people sometimes I think put marriage as kind of on this pedestal. It's two people together in a traditional marriage, right? I can't take on the other, different scenarios out there in this world.
Well, yeah, that's something else.
But for
we haven't gotten into that.
If we have two people, regardless of man, woman, 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 man, man, just two people together, I think the biggest challenge you're going to face in that marriage are going to be the issues within each of those people. Meaning, whatever that person does that has a trait that bugs you, then that's going to come up over and over again in your marriage. And it's really important for you to then really siphon out and have a clear understanding of what you can take and what you cannot. Because what you cannot is going to reappear maybe on a daily, weekly, even minute by minute basis. So that's going to be the biggest challenge. But how about you?
Well, I think it's just like learning to compromise and see the other person's point of view.
Just
I think that's
giving
the
up
biggest.
them,
Well, that's one way to compromise, is just give up what you really wanted. You could do that, but I mean that's
Succumb to the alpha.
That's easier said than done. Because I'm a beta, so betas
Lies.
give up easy.
Lies and fairy tales. Lies. Your nose is growing, Khalil.
Why does beta tattooed on my back then?
It's not.
Oh, okay.
I'll take a picture and show everyone.
Don't show them the truth.
Yeah, the third eye.
Oh, the third beta. I call it beta.
If you're beta, then our dog is an alpha.
Oh yeah, right. This guy is the last letter. He's Zeta.
Oh.
He's the last letter in the Greek alphabet.
You're ZZ, baby. Yes.
Definitely the last.
Okay, so big time question, right? What the whole episode leads up to. What should you expect when you get married?
Expect to put in work. That's the biggest thing. Put in that work. Put in that work. You really got to do that. When you get married, things don't magically fall into place like in the movies. I love how they show that, the happy ending. Oh, they're married. End of the story. Happily ever after. But actually the show goes on. There are many details you got to actually work out. The movies usually don't go into that. I mean, some of those romantic sitcoms, they'll show some of that, but yeah, usually it's a happy ending, like getting the guy or getting the girl. It's like, now we're married, it's perfect now. But they should show you that's when it really starts. That's when it begins. This is when the show starts.
Yes.
Gotta put in work to make this relationship work. It's not just, you can't just like sit back and relax.
Yeah, no, there's nothing relaxing about marriage.
No, you got to figure out the other person. Yeah, it's not easy. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, but it's worth it like anything else. And similar to entrepreneurship, if you love the person, if you love the life you're building together, then everything is totally worth it.
There's a big payoff.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the thing. Yeah.
It's a lot. Every single person I think usually out there gets very miserable on certain days of like Valentine's because they see the couples who seem to be happy or whatever, and they say they want this, but I think ultimately, what do you want? So. What to expect when you get married? If I had to put it up in sum it up in one word, I would say growth. Similar to you, hard work, growth. You're gonna learn more about who you are and what you want out of life. And by being married, you're gonna learn what it is that you really love about your partner and what it is you literally would carve out and just take out if you could with a knife.
Wow.
You will learn patience, and you might even find Jesus. I mean, it's going to be quite the learning experience. Or Buddha, or Allah, or whatever deity.
Vishnu?
Yeah, whatever deity of choice, guys. You might find all of them together in a bar, and it might be like a really interesting joke. So,
all right.
There's that. Or maybe like dogs around a poker table.
Not expecting that.
Remember that painting that they used to talk about in TV
The poker
shows?
one?
Yeah, with
Where
like
they're
the dogs
poker?
and they're playing poker.
That's true.
We should totally get that, actually. I think I digress, guys. Sorry.
A little bit.
In your marriage, by being together, by doing the work, like Khalil was saying, constantly working on loving yourself, loving each other, growing what your relationship should be. Your relationship needs to grow itself. It is an embodiment of the best part of each other. So, it's kind of like the child that is kind of the fictional child that holds you two together. It's the glue that you are strengthening and expanding as you both evolve and grow, because you aren't necessarily the same person that you are when you meet. And it might not be drastic changes, but it will be some changes. So yeah, learning how to compromise, learning, what you wanted back then in the bedroom, in the kitchen, in the car is going to change 5, 10, 20 years from now. So as long as you're willing to take the lessons, and some of the lessons you'll like more than others, but as long as you continue to learn and put in the work and nurture your relationship, that you should expect to work your ass off. But there's a lot of fun that's in there, that's wrapped up with there. There's a lot of just cuteness and memories and just deep connection if you're doing the right thing and you're with the right person.
Are most married people happy to be married?
Okay, you want a real answer or you?
Well, it's just your best guess.
Okay.
Let's go with
In
that.
this country, with these politics and the socioeconomic issues taking
Politics
place,
affect your marriage? Wow.
yes, money affects your marriage.
That
Oil
makes sense, yeah.
affects your marriage.
You need to get over.
Immigration affects your marriage.
If politics are affecting your marriage, I think you got some real big trouble in your marriage.
I mean, it might be first world issues, but
yeah, definitely. To be like, the politics, we just can't agree on it.
I mean, if you're married to a Republican and you're or you're what is the new thing? A Democratic Socialist, right? That's the new craze.
Working party, class, and all that
Green
stuff.
Party, whatever.
But no, you need to. I mean, that's
whatever
to say
names.
politics.
There's so many names. I don't even know all the names.
I understand if you go
but...
like specific issues, but politics as a whole shouldn't be.
I mean, I think it's stressing people out. Money, politics.
But money,
religion,
understandable.
things,
Yeah, religion, all those understandable.
Stress people out, but
Man.
ultimately, I would say sadly no. And if you all.
Whoa.
Yeah, I mean, not
That's
applicable to us, but for.
You said most are not.
Yes. But according to Psychology Today, and again, you can find all articles on WokeNFree.com. In a 2012 book, You Can Be Right or You Can Be Married. Very interesting. Dana Adams Shapiro wrote that as few as 17% of couples are content in their partner. Vicki Larson, journalist and co-author of the new I Do Reshaping Marriage for Skeptics, Realists, and Rebels, cites that 6 of every 10 are unhappily coupled and 4 out of 10 have considered leaving their partner.
The one problem with these is you and me know, just like you were saying earlier, there's a ton of people that shouldn't be married in the first place.
Ding, ding, ding.
So I think they're skewing these results. They're serving these people that should not even be together.
I think that what would be an
like without a shadow of a doubt,
is,
they shouldn't be together.
Do you think you're married to the right person? Because if you do that, I think
a lot
of
bring
these
that up.
studies would show most people are probably married to the wrong person, which then leads to the unhappiness, the drug abuse.
I think that's the first issue. Yeah, people are married to the wrong person, so of course they're going to be unhappy, and they're probably going to get divorced later. People get married after knowing somebody for 3 days. So what do you expect out of them?
There's a shotgun wedding for a reason. There's Vegas weddings. There's a lot of crap where people just get married. And
people do it for fun, and then there's the big one is people trying to just get their can you get not citizenship, but your green card or whatever.
The whole immigration.
Just being an immigrant, bringing immigrants over. There's a TV show about that.
Yeah.
Where they don't even speak the same language and they're getting married, and you expect them to be happy. I mean,
exactly.
There's too many of these marriages that to me are just sham marriages. That's the best way to put it.
So to go on to make the story even sadder, a study done by the National Opinion Research Center in 2014 revealed that the trend is getting worse, not better. People are becoming less and less happy in their marriages as time goes on, while the actual number of discontented varies, and the data is hard to pin down exactly. It seems clear that happily ever after is less common than we would like it to believe, as we'd like to believe it is. And despite the reality, fairy tales will always have their romantic endings, and Hollywood will never stop making happily ever after films.
Yeah.
It's what people love, and we all undoubtedly continue to be conditioned to think that this is the only right path, and this could be really a major disservice to the public. I would, and that, again, this is all going to be found on that Psychology Today article, which you'll find on WokeNFree.com. I add to this the following. Happiness is a choice, just as miserableness is, just as being sadistic, just as being sarcastic. Everything we do is a choice, guys. So as you can choose to be miserable and nag at your partner and tell them they're a piece of shit and tell them that they ain't good and they can't do nothing right, you could easily uplift your partner. You could easily make your partner feel like they're the most special person in the world, because if they're with you, then it should be darn right special, and it should be amazing if you guys are treating each other and loving each other the right way. So make good choices. And if you're going to choose to be married, then do the work and find a way to make this a benefit, not a burden. And if you can't, then part ways. And don't answer these bloody surveys and skew up the results telling people that they'll never be happy. Come on now.
Yeah,
y'all
just
know
because you made a mistake. Your mistake is scaring other people away.
Definitely. But what do you think, sir?
It's interesting because I actually found some kind of like conflicting information.
Mm-hmm.
this article by Quartz.com says happiness actually doesn't change much in long marriages.
Interesting.
A sociologist from We Are Penn State.
Woo! Yes!
And Brigham Young University examined data from six.
Okay, Khalil. You're hilarious.
Yeah, there's another person in there. All right. They examined data from 1,617 participants. And after 20 years, they saw that half of them were still married, 19% were divorced, 5% were widowed or actually dropped out of the study. Mm-hmm. They found that the couples that stayed together maintained the same level of happiness, which actually slightly increased after the small decline in the first couple of years. So happiness kind of, it went down a tiny bit in the first years, but it kind of like dipped back up and went on an onward trend, but not by much though. And okay, I guess it's a little bit different than what you found previously. And they also saw that although happiness wasn't changing much for the participants, the shared activities that the partners did together went up, and discord actually went sharply down over time.
Interesting. Well, your studies were focused on long-term relationships. So
yeah, this is after a long period of time,
that
not
could
just
be the differentiation of the research I shared. But
yeah, maybe that was it.
Or I mean, ultimately, people just have to say, hey, I can't decide how happy I'll be based on these random studies. Maybe I have to just live my life and figure out what works, what doesn't work, and keep it moving.
Yeah, that's true.
What would you change, if anything, about the institution of marriage?
Yeah, I would change the U.S. federal tax law. Married people should be taxed like if they were individual with no penalties for how they choose to file.
Interesting.
Just tax them the same. That's what I think. Make it easier.
I love that, yeah.
And another thing is for these people that get caught up in their weddings and buying all this stuff, there shouldn't be overcharging for wedding items like flowers and decor.
Yeah.
Because that's what these bridal people do is the price, just because you slap wedding on it, you know, the price of flowers can be 5 times more.
True.
Than if you just bought flowers and didn't tell them the occasion. That's what I find interesting, is getting overcharged just because you're getting married. I don't think these companies should be emptying their wallets just because people want to have a wedding. I mean, that's just messed up.
True. Okay. So let's see. For me, I would say no last name changes. Yep. And yes, I know everyone. Natasha Nurse is a cool name. I get it.
This is no bueno.
I think this is a barbaric institution of expecting. Don't laugh, Camille.
This is crazy what you're saying.
I think this is barbaric ludicrous. Institution of expecting the woman to change her name when she is not property. And now recently I did see an article.
It's a good way to know that she's married.
I lived my life under my maiden
Yeah, but now
name.
you have a new family, so you got to know who your family is.
How about we just create a new name then for the new family? No,
you can't do that because now everybody won't know who you are.
Exactly. So how about no one changes names and we just live our lives? Because it would actually be easier to track family trees if no one changed their name. You could find that person no matter who they were married to. It's actually hard. It changes.
Yeah, but then they're going to have to go through. You're going to have like 30 people with the same name in the same family tree, so you're not going to know who's who. How would you be able to point out?
But you can
this
always
is the younger
find
of the
that
Natasha.
If they all I'm saying is I think that I would like to see that change in the future.
Because you like Lord of the Rings, where they have long names and they have all these.
I don't like that part.
Grandfathers and fathers.
Moving on. No weddings. No weddings. I agree with you. I think that people probably should not have them, and if you do have them, put a cap. You can't spend more than $10,000 on it because it's not worth it. And
that's a lot to me.
Yeah, $10,000 is outrageous in and of itself. But I'm just giving that to the bougie people who spend $2 million. So
and the average is actually $37,000.
Yeah, exactly. So I say cap it at $10,000. You need to fit within that budget because it's a waste of money. You could buy a house. Stop being foolish. And then also, I actually would like to see a government-supported or sponsored classes and workshops that couples could take every year, whether we're talking about counseling things or dance classes or anything that the couple needs to make sure that the fire keeps burning bright, but that there also some type of governmental support to help people who are maybe dealing with domestic violence in their relationship or whatever the issues are. But just having the government kind of endorse that if they want people to get married, if that tickles their feather, then they should provide support and resources to make marriage easier. Because sometimes people on their own accord won't do it, but they might if they feel like, an institution is behind them.
But why can't a company just do it instead of the
company
government?
could do it, but I just said government just because I think that, they spend money on other things, so why not spend money on the people?
Because this doesn't seem like a profitable expenditure.
It's not a profitable expenditure. It's a kind of a humanitarian effort.
Oh, all right. I see.
Mm-hmm. Tips for a happy marriage. What do you think, sir?
I've got a couple of short but deep phrases that come to mind when I think about a happy marriage.
Oh, Lord.
Now, these are goodies, and what's great about them is you'll remember them. It's not something you gotta be like, oh, what did he say?
You better
it's
not
just
say
real
mind
quick.
over matter, Khalil.
That doesn't make any sense.
Because you know why I said that, too.
Wow. You're going to love my phrases then.
You better not say that.
You'll love my phrases.
I will rip out hair.
One of my phrases was partially mentioned by, I think, a book that a person wrote that you mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, happy wife, happy life.
Too bad you don't live by that one.
Just remember that. Because I follow that, almost as close as, a religion.
The lies you tell.
It's almost as
it's
a religion that I follow.
Did you drink lion tea?
Lion. I did drink lion tea. Lion.
Lying.
Oh, lion.
Lying.
Bunt. Yeah, that's all I know. Bunt. That's all I can think.
Yep.
And the second one is, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy?
How about both?
That's like oil and water. Oil and water.
I choose to be right.
All right. And there you go, then. You're choosing your life right there. That's your life. You better get your life.
Well, I told you
You better get your life.
I told you I'm an alpha. So.
And I told you I am a beta.
Lies!
And you know where that shines through? Watch this in the last phrase.
Yep.
Sharing is caring.
I
Only
know.
a beta could say that.
That phrase is really interesting. But it's true, guys. Sharing is caring.
For a happy marriage, these 3 tips are definitely things to follow.
Except when applying to cheesecake.
Oh, well, you probably should destroy it instead of even sharing.
Yep. Okay.
Don't eat it.
All right, now you'll love my advice. Okay, so know who you are married to.
Shouldn't you marry a stranger?
No, not
Very
even
exciting and alluring.
Not even for a TV show. This is scary. This person can kill you. Please don't do it. And I'm not just talking about physical death. There's also something called financial death and emotional death and spiritual death. So please don't get into something that you have not really thought through. Please do not get into something that you will really regret and you haven't really done the pro-con analysis. Next, it's important to like your partner. He or she is not low-key Satan, guys. I find it peculiar when people are married to someone that they would rather stay out all night than to go home and see this person. Please like who you're married to. That is really
That's
not
always
that
nice,
hard.
right?
Yeah. Also, set the rules of engagement for your relationship based on what you two want. It is not a one-way street. It is a two-way street. So both of you have the right to set the terms of your relationship and do not base it on other people not in the relationship, which brings me to my next point. Don't bring other people in your relationship unless you're into that.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one, yeah.
If you need to see a therapist or a relationship coach, cool. But don't discuss your marriage
ask
with
your friend. What do you think?
Yeah, with your friends, your family. They are not trained or experienced to deal with your stuff, your life, your journey, your business, not anybody else's. Try to keep a cool head, right? Our emotions make us want to go over the top sometimes. They will, take you down the wrong path sometimes. We got to do what Joyce Meyer says, which is live beyond our feelings. We have a brain for a reason. Use it. Next, put in the work. I think it's really funny that you want a happy ending and you're not willing to put in the work to achieve this.
This isn't a massage parlor.
Okay, guys. I didn't say that kind of happy ending. What the hell?
That's how we're talking about marriage. You're talking about happy ending. It's weird.
Happy ending as in 80 years together and you're still walking and you still smile and you give each other kisses and you hold my raincoat.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about what happens in those shady places.
Why say shady? Is that what they're called?
When someone is taking out their genitalia.
Whoa,
and someone is
buddy! Whoa, buddy.
Yeah, where we're talking wowzers.
What are you saying?
You know what I'm saying, Khalil.
I thought happy endings were ice cream cones that you get at the end.
I mean, you can call it whatever you want.
Thought it was a nice treat.
You know, listen, we know what you're talking about. WokeNFree Nation knows what you're talking about. So let's call a spade a spade.
All right.
And the point is, we digress down this sexy path. Let's get back to the real stuff here. And put in the work. Make a point to have weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly date night. Ask how your partner is doing. You know, are there things you want to focus on in your relationship this month? How can you expect to be happy if you're not willing to put in the work? That's my main point. And then also, marriage is voluntary, guys. It's supposed to be, at least. If you aren't happy, then don't just stay stuck. Do something about it to fix your melancholy. And if you can make it work, make it work. If you can't, au revoir, and keep it moving. And then my last tip of advice, and this is really important, guys. Be kind. Be kind to yourself and be kind to your partner. Sometimes you don't always have to point out your partner's fault. Sometimes, like you said, being right or being happy. Sometimes it's better to choose happiness.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of rightness. And, even if they're wrong, is it going to be worth the fight for the next 2 weeks? Or could you just...
And what's the benefit of it? It's not like, if I don't point this out, the world's going to end.
Yeah.
That's what's funny. Sometimes it's...
Don't sweat the small stuff kind of
thing.
There's
no benefit of even saying it. It's just like, okay.
Yeah, you don't...
That wasn't serious.
Yeah, you don't have to be the sarcastic person or the pragmatic person every single time. You could just, put in the work to try to be a pleasant person. It can really take you and your relationship a really long way.
Yeah, that's some definitely good tips. They're long, but guess if you need them details, they're going to have to go back and listen to this episode again.
That, and then we're available for having tours and conversations on love.
Oh, wow. All right. You're saying a lot of stuff that's very interesting. Yes. I didn't know about this stuff, but I'm finding out just like you guys.
We're going to have a love tour.
Finding out this new stuff, just like the WokeNFree listeners.
I love it.
Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario? It's scenario time. Scenario 1. Susquanna is a nursing student who just exited the restroom with a big surprise. She just found out she's pregnant.
There's a chunch in your chunch.
With her boyfriend, Gerald's child. They've been dating for 8 months so far, and they both feel they should be together. Only problem is, Susquanna's medical debt is adding up, and Gerald is currently in between jobs as an HVAC technician. Should they do the responsible thing and have a shotgun wedding? Shotgun wedding. Or should they just stay single to avoid any financial headaches?
Interesting. And so out of this scenario, you're taking out City Hall. Is that not an option?
Oh, that's an option, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, anything's an option.
Is there a reason why Susquanna doesn't want to marry Gerald?
No, it's not on Susquanna's. Mm-hmm. It's on Gerald's thing, because he's like, oh man, you have all that debt, and then if I get married, am I gonna have to be responsible for that debt? That's the issue that he sees, and he doesn't want to have to even just think about that.
Okay.
He's just trying to think about getting his job.
That's an interesting question or scenario. Maybe he should speak with like a family law attorney who can maybe give him an understanding and breakdown of what his liabilities would be. And if there's a way to shield him, if they really do in their deep hearts want to be married before their baby comes, then, see if that's a possibility, and definitely avoid spending on a wedding, since it seems like both of them are not in a position to do that. Probably City Hall would be their best option, but yeah, I think he needs to speak with a professional, maybe even a tax person who can also speak to him about what the liabilities will be. And then from there, he can, he would have done his due diligence, and then he would have, been able to arrive at a conclusion. I mean, this is not a very sexy way of finding out if you're going to get married with your partner, but sometimes, love isn't always so sexy. It's not so hot after the 3 days, as a Miranda from Sex and the City says, right? Like, we gotta kind of put in that work and figure out the non-sexy stuff that matters.
All right.
What do you advise?
I think they should just skip the wedding and just live together.
And she just be a baby mama.
Yeah, I think that's the best bet until he gets a job and she gets out of nursing school.
Ouch. Okay.
That's what I think. I just think that's easier.
Okay.
And then she could start paying down the debt and
Gotcha.
it could be less eye-watering to Gerald.
I don't know what the liabilities are, so I can't say it's off the table for me, but that's definitely an option
Yeah,
too.
that's the other option. Scenario 2. Haley never wanted to do what her parents expected and have a big wedding in a church. She was always worried about the cost and not really getting a return on such a large investment. While participating in her weekly scratch-offs, she casually won $1,000 a week for life. What should she do with the money she just won?
Oh, interesting. So yeah, you have some really technical scenarios here. Again, she's going to need to speak with a professional, maybe an attorney, maybe an accountant, and maybe put up a trust or something.
Wow, she's got to do all this.
To kind of shield that money away from whoever she gets married to, so that they don't have a right to it. But I don't know what the rules are for that. So she's going to need to speak with someone who can explain to her what that money means for her personally, as well as what that money would mean to her in a relationship. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I wasn't even thinking about that way. I was thinking about in terms of should she do the big wedding or should she like buy a house?
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, that's a good one. Not even think about that part.
Yeah, I was just totally thinking about like, is he going to try to take some of this money?
I didn't even think about that.
Because what if they try to get divorced? Like, so I was just thinking,
that's
whoa.
A good thing, yeah. That was a good thought.
Yeah, she's gonna have to think. She's gonna have to speak with a lawyer and accountant to really, again, figure out what are your liabilities, what's happening here.
But you think she'd be right for not having the big wedding and buying a house with that money?
Yes, she should buy a house. I'm sorry, WokeNFree Nation, if any of you love big weddings. We don't, and you can be mad at us and tell us. I say don't do it. Unless someone else is doing this for you and they have nothing to do with their money, good for them.
Because I think it's nicer to move out of your parents' house and have a space of your own.
Get a house. Always get the house. Yeah.
I just think that's nicer.
Or condo, co-op, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. But just get out of Dodge. Get out of Dodge. Get your space. You need some breathing room, and you got to figure out how to live and how to have responsibility.
Yeah, you can't have lasagna every Friday night by Mama or Nana. It's not making sense.
With them doing your laundry.
Yeah, you're never gonna grow up.
Scenario 3. Marshall has been dating his best friend for over 2 years. His friend Kelly has said that they should never get married because they will lose the friendship they have now, and being married is a whole different situation than currently. Should Marshall get married in spite of the negative misgivings of his friend?
Again, yeah, that's a part of right after one of my tips, right? So, his friend might have all the good intentions in the world. That person's not an expert in relationships, nor are they an expert in Marshall's relationship. So, to hell with your friend, and you need to do what you think is best in your heart, and you've done a pro-con analysis. And if you think marrying this person is what you want in your life, then Marshall, go about your bad self and live your life. Because your friends will tell you to jump off a bridge, and then your friends will also look at you and say, well, that was stupid that you did that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, your friends can be bullshit. Yes. So, like, live your life and make your decisions and own them, right? At least you can't say, oh, man, I got married because you told me to. No, live your life.
Yeah.
Don't be a fool. Live your life. And I think if Marshall is happy and it's the right decision, go about your badass and self and live your life. How about you?
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. Don't listen to this friend. What does he know about relationships and marriage? He's just talking crap. Don't listen to him. He doesn't know enough about your relationship, even specifically to have that type of... he doesn't have the knowledge to speak on your relationship. So I just say go with your heart and, get married.
Yeah, and the key is even experts who have been studying relationships and people for years, guess what? They're not an expert in you. You're an expert in you for your life. So, I think that people have to also remember that you will know what's best for you as long as you have a clear, kind of head on your shoulders and you have an understanding of reality around you. That sometimes can be questioned.
Well, of course, because remember, reality is not social media.
Yeah, exactly. So remember, as long as you have an understanding of what's happening in this world, then you're an expert in you, And so you've got to figure out what you need. And
Yeah.
other people can give their advice and you can smile and bless them well, but you've got
Blessings?
Blessings.
Wow. Alrighty then.
Yes, we are at that time again. Oh my goodness. It is the coming of the end of our 53rd episode of Woke and Free. What the hell, Khalil?
Wow. Did we do it? Did we do it this time?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, I hear the dollar signs. Or I see the dollar signs. I hear the
Ching,
change.
ching, ching, ching.
I hear the change falling.
Definitely the change falling.
I think
Not
I heard
the
a dime.
dollars.
I heard a dime fall. Did you hear a dime?
Nope, I think it was a nickel.
Even better.
Yeah.
Nickels upon nickels.
Come on.
Yep, we're stacking up.
Clearly. This was quite the episode talking all about what to expect after and when you get married, right? What happens after the I do's. And as per usual, will I leave you hanging for what our next episode is going to be all about?
On our next episode, we will be talking about where did punk rock music come from? Make sure you follow us on social media to follow along in the conversation, and make sure you tune in next week for Woke and Free Wednesday to join the conversation at WokeNFree.com.
If you would like to be a guest on the show, submit a topic for an upcoming episode or share how you feel, and you can hit us up on our Contact Us page at WokeNFree.com. Again, that is WokenFree.com. And guys, just so you know, low-key, hashtag shameless plug, it's my birthday! So I definitely... definitely want to hear from you on my birthday. Why don't you make my day and hit us up on WokenFree.com. Also, we love the love and support on social media. Share the episode, because what could be a better birthday gift than that? And we thank you for tuning in. And this actually makes our 1 year anniversary of Woke and Free.
Wow, 1 year already.
Yes.
Well, if you didn't already subscribe, please do. Share the episode. Make sure you come back to join the conversation every Wednesday for Woke and Free Wednesdays. Remember, Woke and Free is more than a podcast. It is a way of life. Until next time, Woke and Free Nation.